Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fans POV Halloween. I am Ernie Chrystal. This is Miss Crystal Vitalia over here. Now, this is a show that we've wanted to do for a long time. Do a Halloween episode featuring some of the best haunted houses that we've ever seen. I don't know about anybody else, but this is definitely one of our favorites. Now, Crystal, you did a lot this Halloween.
Sure
but
did.
Let's talk about previous. What have you done on Halloween? You've done the usual trick or treating. You've done all this. What else have you done that's not normally done?
Twice I've been to the city, for different club events. I've never done the Halloween parade itself. Always have wanted to do that. But as far as definitely trick or treating, definitely staying home with the trick-or-treaters or, just keeping patrol of the house,
The usual stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so it's what I've always done is I've done the trick-or-treating myself. I've been home for trick-or-treating. I think 2 years ago what my nephew did, I don't know if I told you about this, is that my nephew dressed up as a headless guy.
Nice.
And he was sitting outside of our house with a bowl of candy. So... Of course, you're gonna scare little kids with it, and even the big kids. That was the funniest part. Seeing the teenagers and the adults.
Oh yeah.
Kind of slowly walk up to the
do it. Go. You go. You go first.
Oh yeah. Actually, what it is that one of his friends came over the first time and he got spooked by it. So as a joke, he basically got one of his friends. He was like, "Yo, there's the candy over there. Get some." And he's looking back, I don't know if I want some. So he started inching a little bit forward, and then he looked back. He's like, "You sure about this?" Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. And totally scared him. So
nice.
It was cool.
I remember my mom always made such a huge deal out of every single holiday. Yeah. In the past, I was in New Orleans for Halloween. Actually, that's a pivotal moment. As far as I was at a ball down there, and my mother's like, "You're not going to be with me for Halloween this year?" Which I'm like, sorry, because it's that's how much of a thing we make of it that it was a Christmas I was missing, So she used to set up when we were done trick or treating. Besides testing our candy to make sure there's no needles in it, but it'd be
that's the excuse every parent
I know,
uses.
oh no, I'm protecting you. I'm like, no, come on, but it would be one of those that would honestly there's nothing like being. I'd rather be honestly in New Orleans during Halloween than in New York in Halloween.
See that makes sense though, because New Orleans does have the mystical past. It does have the voodoo. It does have a lot of psychics down there. You go down Bourbon Street, it's all psychics down there.
You have
basically anything voodoo, anything spirits related.
You have your haunted history tours that you walk around.
Yeah,
I've done the cemetery tours down there. The fortune tellers usually hang around Jackson Square, but even then that's thinning out over the past years. I don't know how it's been since Katrina, but I know they were hurting a little bit down there, the fortune tellers. So it's
that makes sense there. So but we're not talking about New Orleans.
Right.
We're talking about Long Island here.
Yes.
So first things first, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we did while we did here on the island. Now, Crystal, you did the majority of stuff. I only went to one thing. I wanted to go to more, but you went to you went to a lot more stuff than I had a chance to. So.
I have a Halloween rap sheet right now.
Yeah. So, let's talk about some of the kid-friendly stuff first. We'll do
Sure.
You did some pumpkin picking, right?
Yeah, me and my family went to the Albert H. Schmidt Farms in Dix Hills on Bagatelle Road. Definitely family kid oriented, where they have the hay rides, although I keep on finding that they're covering the hay with plastic bags, so you're going on a tractor hay ride just to sit on plastic bags. So they hide the hay. You're going.
Well, do you really? Well, the thing is, I understand that, because if you sit on the hay, you're gonna get dirty.
Of course, that's the whole point. Going on a hay ride.
I'm sure that I bet you some people got complaints about that.
It's you're ruining the nostalgia of it. I'm oh no, don't get dirty on the hay ride that you wanted to go on to. It's just but they have the blow up things for the kids, the bouncies. I picked a couple pumpkins. One of my pumpkins imploded on itself the week before Halloween. I'm like, It just totally eradicated into itself. Because I went on the 12th of October, and it was like, I'm like, all right, getting this done early, gonna be, I'm like, well, my pumpkins is gone. I can't even do anything. Just leaking and oozing everywhere. I throw it outside. I'm like, got pumpkin juice on my leg. How's that happen?
Yeah. It's like that one picture that circulated online of the pumpkin throwing up. Like it has all the beers around it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I made one of those one year. It's great.
Alrighty, so you did that. What else did you do? What other?
The other family friendly one. Yeah. I mean, definitely the farms like that are gonna be family oriented. Yeah. But the Spooky Fest in Rockville Center, this CSTL sponsors it. It's the Tanglewood Preserve area. So you have where it's like volunteers doing it, and they had like the craft room for the kids, that face painting. You had palm readers there that were actually really accurate. I'm like, oh my god, that's true. You had
how accurate were they?
Apparently, I'm very level-headed.
Wait, no, it's not accurate. It's not. No, that's a sham right there.
I'm supposed to travel a lot, which I have.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to have a really long life, which fortune tellers are never going to tell you that you're going to die tomorrow. Yeah, if anyone tells you that, they're full of crap because they're not even allowed to even say that. But okay. But it's they had it where they had a spooky walk and a not so spooky walk. The not so spooky walk was meant for little kids where, this is 8 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock, and then you have it where there's just decorations you kind of go through, like, oh, look at the little ghost family, oh, little spider family, everybody's just happy. And then you go through the not so spooky walk, which I always wanted to try this. It was a haunted forest instead of a haunted house. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be there were periods of there's nothing and you're in the pitch blackness walking around. So I'm like, it's just anxiety of something's about to happen and not happening. But then you have people popping out at you and they're doing the whole thing. It's just, I would have liked it if there was eerie music with it because I felt like that would have added to the effect of it. Like
the ambiance of it would have been much better. Yeah.
Right. So while you're walking, all of a sudden you hear a tree branch snap, like, oh, well, someone's obviously coming, and blah, I'm like, yeah, I knew you were coming because the tree branch just snapped. Yeah. So it's like, it's fun.
They might do that next year. You said this was their first year doing it, right?
No, Spooky Fest was, they've been doing this for a little bit. Adventureland, that was the first year doing it.
Oh, okay.
So I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, already.
But, and then after the Spooky Fest also had a haunted maze, like a junkyard maze, where you actually, it is a maze. It's like an outdoor, open ceilings, but some parts were closed in, and they did a pretty good job with it. And there was one part we really did no, we were just here, crap, and we had to go around and find. You really had to get out of the maze.
It was like an actual
right.
Okay.
It was smaller scale, definitely something that would be geared more towards little kids and teenagers. Once you get into the adult, in your 20s or beyond. Not as strong. Yeah. But for a high school girl, I was like, one guy in the car, I'm hearing chainsaws and little girls screaming. I'm like, this is gonna be promising. So it's just one of those things I would recommend if you're in that age bracket.
Okay. So you went to Spooky Fest. All right. We touched upon Adventureland for a little bit. Right. Let's talk about that. This is their first year doing it.
Yeah. It was Adventureland Nightmare on the Midway.
Now, hold on. For those who don't know what Adventureland is, it's an amusement park, sort of a really small. Oh, the movie Adventureland that starred
Zombieland.
No, not Zombieland. Oh. That one that starred Kristen Stewart and what's his name, the guy from Zombie, Adam, I think Adam Eisenberg or something like that.
I never saw it.
It was a movie. It was a movie based on the adventure park called. The amusement park called Adventureland.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the director of that movie actually worked at Adventureland, and that's what he based the movie on. So if you've ever seen the movie Adventureland, that's exactly what it is. So
pretty much, it's what they were doing for this event. It was a smaller scale version of going to Fright Fest and Six Flags. So if you can't make it to New Jersey for Fright Fest, whatever it is, this is a great supplement. It's it's half the price for half the park, but. For the first time of them doing this, kudos to them because they had the whole park decked out. You had Slappy Sadistic Circus Land, the Zombie Asylum, 1313 Cemetery Way, and the Evil Express.
So they had like different. They had the rides there, but they just spruced it up for Halloween.
Right. Like what they did was that they turned like the train ride that you go around into like a haunted train ride where you have things popping at you the entire way, and it's like a over 10-minute ride. So it's like they had that, the 1313 Cemetery Way. You're in like these old little antique cars, and it's on a track, but you can steer the wheel. It's not going to do anything for you, but you can steer the wheel. And you had all these things popping out, so it's like the quicker, shorter version of the express one, but it was actually a little more scarier. I felt it was like it definitely was jumping with that. The Zombie Asylum, they converted the bumper car area into an indoor haunted house.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So it was like walking through that. It definitely was jumping and scaring. Someone ran after me with a chainsaw. I peed my pants just slightly this time, but going out the door.
Just a little bit. Okay.
Just a little. You know, you had the circus land was just like the evil clowns walking around. So
Like, did they walk around the entire park, or is it just one specific area?
They stay in there. I mean, you had the zombies and ghosts walking around the entire park, but the evil clowns generally stayed in the little kiddie area, or it's a little more carnival like. They had another indoor haunted house thing where it's like a 2-seater where it's like a dome shaped, where if you ever been to
I know exactly what you're talking about, like Haunted Mansion,
right? It was like Disney that World. Sort of setup where they swivel around, and we were waiting to go in, and then all of a sudden the girl who's running the ride, she comes over and just screams in my face. I'm like, ah! So I'm starting off the ride like, but, and that was like an indoor thing where you're on a motor thing.
Well, that's also that's year round. That particular one.
Yeah, I didn't know that was year round. Honestly, the last time I went to Adventureland, I might have been like 4. So I'm like, I don't remember any of this stuff. So it was like all new to me.
Oh yeah, most of I didn't know that was there until I went for my niece's birthday this past summer. So I know the feel. But what other stuff that they had at Adventureland? I know there was a lot more that you were telling me about. Like they had people walking around in costumes, right?
You had they really went all out for their props. They had it where you had one guy walking around stilts and he was doing his thing with the different glowy things. You had hellhounds where it was a giant animatrix. It was like an animated statue thing that would actually with a button it would pop up and go to attack you.
Kind of like
Animatrix?
Animatronics.
Animatronic, yeah. So it actually and they had a Godzilla thing, being his chest, and they had a giant werewolf. They had the tree that's there, they turned into a Halloween tree. The owl's like, oh, I wouldn't go there if I were you. And he's like, oh, I don't like chainsaws. I had a close shave with one. And it's a tree talking. It's like, haha, that's clever. Yeah. But it's just, I was like, you definitely had, it was funny watching the young teenagers scream halfway across the park while someone with a knife through their heads laughing while going after them.
So they chased you.
They chased you. They chased you a little bit. Or they would just kind of go up to you, kind of stare at you, You're like, ah. I'm like, what's up? So it was, then that's what they do in Fright Fest. They chase you. The stores were sanctuary, which Fright Fest does as well. Where if you go into one of the restaurants or the arcade or the stores, they can't follow you in there. They'll hang around outside waiting for you to come back out, but they won't. They
won't go in after you. So,
right. So you're like, I'm safe. So they definitely, and the rides were all open. So it was like $30-something for a ticket, and it was unlimited access to all the haunted attractions and the rides. We were there for
pretty good.
That's a pretty good price. We were there for 2.5 hours for that amount of money.
Yeah.
It's really it's something that I would do again next year, definitely.
Okay. All right. So let's move on. Let's go to the next one. Is we'll do the Rise of Jack-O-Lantern.
Sure.
All right. So you went to that. You actually just went yesterday when we did this.
Twice.
You went twice for it. What is it exactly?
The Rise of the Jack-O-Lanterns at the Old Westbury Gardens is where they have an event. It's more of an art show, kind of, where you go through this a little bit over a third of a mile trail of all these carved pumpkins decorated and carved out. That it's a combination. You still have your 5,000 real pumpkins carved out, but you also have your the fake foamy pumpkins along like the fillers.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, and they carve them out intricate designs, and you have different themes throughout, and they had the music going with it. Okay. And like, so the trail itself can take you 45 minutes to an hour to walk through. If you're, I mean, we were there for like an hour and a half because of all the pictures we were taking and all the video footage. And like, there's just so much to really see. There was the, you had, one of the highlights that we saw was the Tim Burton section. That had to be the favorite part.
That must be cool.
You know, they had like stuff from Nightmare Before Christmas carved out, Corpse Bride, Frankenweenie, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands. You know, like they had a lot of his different movies all carved out into these pumpkins, and they had they actually had it where Edward Scissorhands was a combination of pumpkins made out into like a figure.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, you had like the head of Edward Scissorhands, then one part of the body, then another part of the body. So you had like a life-size, you know.
So it was all like basically jack-o'-lanterns, but each one was a different body part.
Right.
Okay.
So you had that, you had your sports section, your classic horror movie section. You had along one side all the like the famous art pumpkins, whether it was like they had stuff that was like Van Gogh or Salvador Dali. They had Pollock. You know, they had as far as like just all the really like classic modern art, like sort of like carvings out. Where I'm like, oh, it's really cool. I'm like, you can definitely tell it's it's that painting.
Yeah.
So you have that in Westbury Gardens. You had like different foliage, like sculpture ones where they carve like the vines and the flowers and made it into this giant like installation piece. So you kind of and they even had like mini pumpkins going up. At first, like, oh, look at the string lights around the trees. So I'm like, those are mini pumpkins all the way carved up all around. That's cool. You know, it was just really intricate designs. You know, they had these like giant sculptures. You know. You had the Big Bang Theory characters carved out. Yeah, you had like the planets, you know, all the planets like carved out and like a star part.
Pluto in that
They did include Pluto.
Oh, okay, all right.
And it's funny because you know how many times you're like, oh look, there's Uranus. You're like, yeah, you had a few jokes going on that night about that, but they had the sun with them, and honestly, next to the Tim Burton section, my favorite section would probably be the pumpkin hell, where we had all evil pumpkins and like pumpkins roasting other pumpkins on like a skewer. I'm like, that's awesome. And they're all like, oh, you know, you had pumpkins eating other pumpkins where they had mini pumpkins stuck in their mouths. You know?
Oh, that's nice.
It was really cool. I'm like, that's awesome. You know, and then one thing I found out, because you're thinking like, this thing starts at the beginning of October.
Just this one, because I know like some of them they were advertising like the beginning of September, but
or maybe it was. I'm trying to think, because they had them for weeks. They had them for over a month displayed out.
Yeah, we'll go with just for a month for now, but
right. It's like, and the funny part, you're thinking, how the hell are these jack-o'-lanterns lasting this entire month? And I was reading on the website, they actually have to, along the season, recarve the pumpkins.
Oh, really?
So, like, you know, wherever one goes bad, they have to recarve it and they'll replace it. Okay, so they have to do a lot of recarving because they'll keep it, like, even last night seeing it, it ends today, you know, and like, even last night seeing it, they had them looking, they looked prestige. Nothing looked like they were like falling apart. It looked like how it looked when we went a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, they really upkeep it nicely. So it's like, it was just gorgeous. Awesome artwork, you know.
That's something I would have loved to see. I wish I could go today, but I can't do that. Actually, you know what? The funny thing is about that place is that a couple of my friends went, and then you remember Patty, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she actually got engaged there.
Aww.
One of her now fiance carved out a pumpkin. It says, "Patty Mae, will you marry me?" And he pointed it out to her, and it was like,
that was
pretty cool. I was like, when I heard that you got engaged, I'm like, no way. And she's like, yes, I did. And here's what happened. And the story I just told you. So
they actually have a few pumpkins that say "love" or "will you marry me."
Yeah.
So apparently, I'm not sure if it's like.
I'm sure you can buy maybe you can buy a pumpkin and customize it for whatever occasion.
That's
whether you want
cool.
to say you love somebody or you want to propose or Happy Halloween X, Y, and Z. So
It was cool. It was also at the event. They had like a little table of vendors and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had the artists there carving away, making the sculpture pumpkins. Like, you know, as far as example, what you use, they're using like pottery tools. I'm like, I actually use that stuff when I carve out my pumpkins each year because I try to be an overachiever on my pumpkins every year. So it was just like, it was definitely something cool to watch them actually carve out like the face out of the pumpkin.
Okay, so you get to see like them
the process.
Actually. Okay, did you get a chance to do your own?
No, it was just watching them. Like, it was funny because you had little kids like, can I touch it? And I was like, no,
like,
sorry.
Yeah. So
that was Rise of the Jack-o'-lanterns.
How much did it cost to get into that one? That was what?
It was normally $20 if you're adult. But they have coupons throughout the entire promo codes throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
So like they'll have it where you can get like 25% off or half off. You know, so they'll have the deals. I mean, it's one thing is that you have to order in advance. You cannot buy it at the door. You have to order in advance, and there's time slots. And you have to like
be there at that time.
Right. It's like we were a little like late, but they still let us in. But it's where you can't just show up. It's and you had to like, especially close, like there was even a couple weeks ago that where this is totally sold out and there'd be a waiting list. I'm like, how can there be a waiting list? When we got there that night, there was thousands of people online. I'm like, this is why they had a waiting list. It was actually, and the line moved along. They had it for a reason because it was efficient. Yeah. It worked nice. It was crowd controlled by breaking it up where it's not just a free for all of everybody just piling in there and you can't get through. You know, so it was definitely a good idea. The way they did it.
All right. Well, let's go on to the next one. Is the Bayville Screen Park, which is actually I think voted the best one on Long Island. So that's so this is the cream of the crop apparently for it. I like it a lot, but then again, you know, I'm kind of biased because it was down the road from where I used to live. So, so let's talk about that. We actually went. That's the only haunted house I actually went to this entire time. Like you see, we still have our ticket. That's the only one I went to. Now, what did you think of it when you first entered?
It was. I never knew this place even existed. I'm like. You walk in going, like, this is like a carnival setup. Like, I didn't realize there was an actual park that they convert to, like, Halloween during this time of year. So I was like, whoa. Like, you can tell, like, it was prestige. Like, they definitely put a lot of money into their props and their makeup and, like, just the whole setup. Like, this is like what the little, like, haunted houses grow up to be. You know?
But yeah, well, I said it was voted the best one on Long Island. It's been that way for a while. Mm-hmm. The town is basically known for that adventure park right there because that park is like a mini Adventureland all year round. Like during the summer, it's an amusement park. During the fall, it's a hot screen park. During Christmas, it's a winter wonderland. Wow! So they use that park.
They utilize it all. Yeah, that's a smart move because you don't lose business by that.
Exactly, but the biggest moneymaker to them is the Halloween one.
It was like you can tell like everything looked very clean, very like professional. You know, as far as it's like we've been doing this for some time. Yeah. Like they have it where it's like they have it down pat. You know, and they had like 5 different haunted attractions to go to. Yeah. So it's like you walk in there for free, but anything you want to do, it was like, well, this is the price for this haunted house. This is the price for this haunted house. Yeah. So I was a little sticker shocked. Yeah. You know, because I thought it would just like, all right, you go in there and go to the haunted house. I didn't realize that that's how they had the setup. So I was a little confused while walking in there at first. Yeah, but it was like, oh, okay, and you weigh your options, whether if you want to do all 5 in one night, or if you just want to do 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah, well, it's all dependent on the pricing too, because I think what it is that each haunted house, since there's the 5 of them, they're $20 a piece.
Well, it was like 16 and change, and then the other one was 17 and change plus the tax. So it was like where they had like a package where if you did all 5, it was the most economical because you're getting like less than $10 for each one, but then you're paying like $50 for it to go to haunted houses that night. We're like, I don't know if I can justify that right now in my current financial situation. So it's like, all right, well, let's do the best one or the most scariest, you know, bang at the buck one, and that happened to be going to the Blood Manor.
Yeah, that's their main attraction. That's the longest one that they had.
Really?
That's the one they kind of build off of. They had that one and the Mirror Maze together because they're the same building.
Ah.
But like the haunted house is what they like worked on, and they worked on that, and then that they used the money they made from that to improve everything else.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, no, that's you can definitely tell like all the props and the characters and even the video like screens that they had, like these mini monitors everywhere. Where I'm like, this is some money put in here, so it justifies the price once you get out of there. Like now I know why it was 17 change, like because it was just. I'm like, the actors were more professional.
Yeah.
You know, the props were more professional, so it's like you get what you pay for.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The video monitor she's talking about in the beginning, in the I guess the queue you can call it. There's a painting that comes to life. It's actually a video monitor. You can tell that. And then outside the windows are TV monitors of like zombies walking, people with chainsaws.
Right. Like someone's like eating some brains and they're looking at you, and then they keep walking. We're like, oh, we're going in this building.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, so let's talk about Bloodworth Manor. What did you think of it? Well, other than you said it's like really professional. It's really nice looking. Overall, the experience.
I was definitely. I'm a wuss, so for me, it's like anything's gonna scare me. So I'm like, it was funny, the pushing matches that started happening between the three of us going was you go first, you go first, you go first. I'm like, I can't say you go first. So it's like, and you're looking at everything and they're going, all right, I know that's a statue. I know it's a statue. Oh, that was not a statue. And they're coming at you.
Like you can sort of tell, and then the ones that are the ones that obviously scare you the most are the ones you don't know that is a statue that you can. That's how they do a really good job with it.
I definitely was screaming a lot.
Oh yeah, we heard because like I had the camera going. I think there were, at least 5 or 6 screams coming from you. Like it was obviously coming from us, but it's. I know there was a lot of cursing on my part.
It was just there's one of those things where it's like they got in your face more. You know they like the other haunted houses. They kind of go up to you, but they're not allowed to touch you. This one, they were like right there on you. We're like, oh, like wait, they just brushed up against me. They didn't touch me.
So it's a good one. It really is a good one to check out. My favorite part of that is actually towards the end, because this one over here, basically. She walks into the room first. There's a lady with a chainsaw. Like, get out of here! And immediately, Chrystal guns it for the exit.
There's a step. I just flew off the step. I'm like,
ah! I'm out of here. And then the funny thing is that when she exited, it's the last room of the house. So it's like you can go outside. She didn't know it was outside, so she made I think a right or something like that, and she went into another part of another haunted house.
Like no, you can't go in there. You can't go in there. Like, oh, where am I going? I just went out here.
Exactly. So I know that was my funniest part because you can see it's all the strobe lights going off.
Yeah.
So it's like a stop motion picture of Chrystal running, coming after her. So it was pretty funny. It was.
I'm like, all right, I'm good. We're all good.
Yeah.
It's just a chainsaw. That's you know that there's no blade on that chainsaw, but it's when you're right in your face, and then I turn around, I'm like, oh, there she is. Like, oh, she's still following me.
Yeah.
Grab it.
It's the air you feel from it. It's just,
it's enough to.
It's enough to make you scared. And
it's like you know it's fake. Obviously, you know it's fake, but while you're in it, you just become like the little kid, like wuss.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you don't know what will happen until you experience it.
Right.
I know another thing also is that this is what I experienced. Every time I was behind you, they had these props hanging down from the ceiling, and they're like. Pig's heads or body parts.
Yeah, heads, like shrunken heads.
Yeah, something like that. Chrystal was just tall enough to graze it. So she would be walking it.
Like la la la.
And then it would hit her and it would fall off of her. And then if I'm behind her, it comes in, as soon as it comes out of her range, it comes and smacks me right in the head. It's like, what the hell is this? What the hell?
You just got a head smacked into you.
Yeah, it's just what the hell? You just feel it too, and it's like, oh man, what the hell was that?
What is that? It's like they had there's so many themed rooms. It took us a while to get through there. It was the biggest haunted house I've ever been to as far as room wise.
It took about 10 to 15 minutes, which is pretty long for an actual haunted house. But We could have actually gone slower if there wasn't for the couple behind us just kept pushing.
I'm like, all right. I was good with going through it quicker.
Well, obviously you are.
But I mean, at the same time, you want to see everything that you like. They had even one part where you're like, it looked like it was outside windows and people trying to smash into the windows to get through you. Again, it was the computer monitors, like. Or the TV monitors, and it looked like they were about to crash in. So you're like, you know it's just a monitor. You just want to get through it.
The thing is, what I like about it is that they fully immerse you into the experience.
Yeah, they really
do. You're going through a movie, or you're going through like an actual haunted house. Like you actually feel like you're there.
It was like a little bit like a House on Haunted Hill feel to it. Yeah, it's like
it's fake, but you get fully immersed into the experience, and it just like kind of overtakes it,
right?
And you just can't help but feel like it's real.
It's like there's parts where it's just pitch blackness, and that was more scary than some of the rooms because you're like, I don't want to take a step forward right now because I don't know what's right there, and I just want to stay right here. You can go first, and then you have to go through that one thing where it's like the cushions are that. Yeah. You have to push your way through. You can't get,
Oh yeah, it was like these two huge bags that they blow.
Like the airbags, it's weird.
Yeah, they have like huge fans blowing against it. So you have a really small kind of area where you have to walk through. And the entire time I was thinking, all right, I'm hoping nobody touches me during this. I hope
I know.
Nothing comes out and pokes at me. Because I would be,
And then they really built into like the wall where they pop out of the wall. You know, like it was just, you had, it was like the sort of deal where it's like, they took time on this. Like there was a lot of effort that was put into it. Like like the one that was at the spooky park that was a little more kid friendly. It was like,
okay.
It was like, it's volunteers. When you're going from volunteers to professionals,
it's a totally different
thing. It's a totally different feel where it's like they're like, I'm here, and they're into it, but then they try their best.
It's not the same.
It doesn't come across like going to something like Bayville.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So, all right. So let's talk about some of the others that you were interested in. They have like we only had money to go to one of them, but there's a total of 5.
Right.
There's the one with the ghost pirates.
Right.
Which actually
they were zombie pirates.
Oh, zombie pirates. Yeah. And that takes up the mini golf course that they had there. I think me, John, and Jet tried that out. We had fun with it.
Did you?
Yeah. The thing is also it's like it's in an open area.
Okay.
And the golf course is right next to the street.
Oh, okay.
So you can go on the sidewalk and see people's reactions to what they're walking into.
We should have done that
and I thought about that now. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. They have that one. They have, what was it, Into the Woods.
Yeah, that's where you had the crazy people escape their insane asylum, and now they're in the woods. I'm like, no.
Yeah, they even have a video in the beginning, like with this crazy doctor like going through.
Don't go into the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they have it's like with this doctor and this newswoman with their camera crew who basically just get killed and mauled by whatever escaped out of there.
That's nice.
Yeah, they have the video of that. That was actually entertaining. They have the clown mirror maze, which is actually in 3D. Like you put in glasses.
Really?
It's kind of like.
Well, I knew that they had the Aztec mummy sort of thing in 3D. So 2 3D things.
I think that it could be the Aztec thing, but they definitely had a clown thing. The clown was definitely a mirror maze.
Okay.
That was the one there. Because it's just like it's killer clowns all over the place, and most people are afraid of clowns. It's just like, ugh.
And I don't think so much of fear of them, but just an extreme disliking of them.
I think that's a better way.
So when they're crazy and they're like, with chainsaws and stuff like that, that's gonna make me.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Not want to be anywhere near them. I'll pass. I'm good with that.
Yeah, and then there's the Aztec temple with the mummies. So one year we'll try all 5 and we'll let you know which one is our favorite one, and that would be interesting. Or maybe we'll all try one and be like,
we're not splitting up. We never split up.
Like
never. That's like a movie rule number 1. Don't split up. And that was
scream now?
Yes. And that was a suggestion that night. Well, how about each one? Just go into one each. I'm like, no.
Or maybe if we have a huge group of us, we'll do 3 go into this one.
Right, that I'll be okay with. But where I'm not going by myself to the haunted house. No way, it's never gonna happen. I'm like, all right, just kill me now.
I would love to see that. No, all right. But anyways, let's move on. You actually spent Halloween was this past Thursday. We're obviously filming this later. Now, you spent it in the city.
Yes.
What did you do in the city other than go to the parades?
Me and Matt went to the Endless Nights Ball and it was at Club Octagon in Midtown, and actually my friends run this this ball every year where they'll hit up New Orleans and New York. They're even in Paris doing different Paris, France, doing different balls, but this was where it's like this has been ongoing for years now, and it's like for over 10 years, and it's where, I mean, it's a masquerade ball pretty much, but it's like a darker, gothier sort of deal. So it was like if you went in costume, you could pay at the door for it. If you went in costume, it was $20 a ticket. I got my tickets in advance online, so I saved a couple of bucks.
Okay. What happens if you don't go in costume?
If you don't go in costume, you just show up there. It's $50 to get in.
Really?
I was like, oh. I'm like, jeez.
So you have to, like, does it?
I think it's more.
You have to dress up as anything? Or?
Anything. You could have dressed up in anything. You know, like.
So like I could have came in there as Gumby and be like, okay, it's only $20.
Right.
Alright.
It's just like, but I mean, they want you to, like, you get a little more into it. There is a dress code there. They always advertise that, like, dress code, where, I mean, there's people in Sailor Moon outfits, and I'm like, okay, and then there was people who were just dressed up in, like, a masquerade ball gown and, you know, and the mask, so it's, you had it's a little more of an alternative lifestyle sort of ball, so it's just... It's one of those things where you gotta be into that scene a little bit more to go. Like the average Joe is not gonna go to it.
Oh, really?
But this is like something that attracts thousands of people each year between all the balls.
Okay.
You know, so it's a underground, well-known thing.
Okay, but can the average Joe go to it and have fun?
Oh yeah, they have the music. The DJs are awesome throughout the whole night. They have the drink specials of getting bloodbath or absinthe. And, you know, like I had one of each. And it's just fun because I mean. The next day, I'm like, what, did this go through my pores? I look like this. I got up the morning, I'm like, my clothes just reek of absinthe. Like, wash with you. So but it was one of those things where, like, they had the couches in the lounge set up, you know, and so it's a dance club. That's why it's like, it's important for a bunch, like, they had the performers, though. They had different, they had some guy with a weird, musical thing where it was like a box that he was hovering his hands over and was making sounds as he was hovering over it. So he would do this, or he would do like a scratchy noise. It would actually like pick up on the movement and create a sound. Where I'm like, what is he doing? But I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
You know, you have like, you know, a burlesque show. They'll usually have their belly dancers. So you'll have like some stage performances that are going on while it's just a dance party all night long. Okay. So that's why it's like, for me, it was a great time. For someone to go in there and pay $50.
Oh, I don't know if that would
to
be
just
worth
see
it.
to be. It wouldn't be worth it for them. Like I think, and
so
I think
it's better just coming in as a costume.
Right.
Costume
right, and that's why I think they probably did it as the incentive to deter people from not dressing up. True, it's like, all right, if you're not going to dress up, then.
Were there people that didn't dress up that way?
There was like a couple. I was like, oh, you poor sap. Why did you do this to yourself?
Like, could they pay for the ticket in advance if they dressed up as an average person?
That's the thing, is that...
Like, you can get your ticket in advance,
You can get your ticket in advance, and they say it's a strict dress code, but I don't know what happens if you decide to show up not in clothing, and you already have your ticket, like... That's a gray area, I don't know.
Maybe they would charge them maybe a couple more bucks. Be like, yeah, I know you got your ticket, but
you gotta pay the difference now.
Yeah,
that's possible. I mean, they've been doing this for many years, so I'm sure they have it all figured out.
Yeah, they probably had something where it's just like, okay, I'm sure somebody's figured out a loophole.
Right. It's just it's one of those things though that it's like the average Joe technically is probably not going to go into it. Okay. You know, so it's one of those.
It sounds like fun to me.
Oh, it's great. Like they had like DJs. It's like. From 10 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock in the morning. It's Halloween night was on Thursday this year. So
next year it's on a Friday, so it'll be much better. Yeah.
You know, but like and this, I mean, we stayed till like 3 a.m. Like, all right, I got work the next day. I need to go. And it stunk even leaving at that point because it's like I had a great time. Yeah, it's like it's still Halloween. And I love this night. I don't want to go. But it's like I was like I had 4.5 to 5 hours of sleep for work the next day. I was like, I just can't wait. As soon as I woke up, I went, I can't wait to go to sleep tonight. No,
it's one of those.
It's one of those like.
All right. No, I hear that. It just sounds like Halloween in New York is just awesome.
Oh yeah. That was just we decided to drive in.
Yeah.
But don't do that. But we drove in, and but the cool part is that while driving through the streets, you just see tons of people on the street just dressed up in all these like different costumes. So it was just cool seeing like just
seeing like everybody just dressed up in general. Yeah. No,
like you had like I saw the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters walking around. Like you have people like there's a bunch of zombie brides. I'm like, I'm not sure that was the theme for the year, but I mean, you have
zombies has just been a theme, period.
Yeah, like zombies.
The Walking Dead came out.
I know, like there's like zombies everywhere. So. But I mean, you had definitely some cool costumes. Like even at the Endless Nights Bowl, there was one guy who was dressed like a scarecrow, but what he had instead was coming out of his arm was green fiber optics. They're like, so instead of the hay, it was this strand of fiber optics. I'm like, that's really cool that he's walking around with this, so it's like, it was just, people get really inventive, especially for city stuff. They're like, they go all out.
Well, it's Halloween, so of course you got it.
Right.
So, alright, let's move on to some rapid fire parts here. We came up with a couple little things that kind of will define everything that we went to. So, we'll both answer these. First one up. Which house had or park had the best effects?
Bayville.
Okay, I agree with that too. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Best costumes.
Gonna have to go with Bayville.
Yeah, I would have to go to Bayville. That's the only one I went to, so I can't really.
It's just like I mean, if you're talking about the city, best costumes, but in
a haunted house lifestyle.
In a haunted house thing, Bayville. Yeah. But as far as if you're talking about just costumes in general, New York City.
Yeah. So, all right, best makeup.
You know what? I think we're gonna have to go with Bayville.
Yeah. Well, not even Adventureland.
Adventureland, their makeup was good.
But it wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't as like scary. They were. I mean, some of them did it pretty good, but like even like the crazy clowns didn't look that crazy. Like they had like definitely like the setup going, but I'm like I wasn't terrified of clowns, which is a shock for me because usually I just don't.
So
it's it was like A for effort, absolutely, but still you had the professionals of Bayville.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, eventually it's trying to compete with them if you think about it because.
Right.
If this is their first year doing it, and this is a first year, they can only go up from here.
Right.
So.
And I think they will. I hope they have it again next year because during the daytime they have the stuff set up for little kids. At nighttime,
I'm sure they will. Yeah, because it's going to be people going out. There's kids that want to go out at night and all that. Which brings to the next one. Which is the most family friendly?
I would have to say Adventureland more. Out of those two parks, Adventureland, and Spooky Fest.
Oh, so it has to be the two? Okay.
It's a tie because Spooky Fest had the crafts for the kids to go to too, and the face painting, and exotic animals too. I saw a chinchilla, it was so cute. They had so you definitely had there was definitely a lot of little kids for that. Mm-hmm. For Adventureland, I wasn't there during the day, but then you have Schmidt's Farms if you were looking for daytime Halloween.
Yeah, because most of the time they're going to go during the day.
Right.
So Schmidt should be up there. I would say Rise of Jack-O-Lanterns.
Definitely.
That would be up there. That's definitely family friendly.
Yeah, Rise of Jack-O-Lanterns is only from 5 something at night on.
That's something like a good nighttime activity for kids. So.
If you had split it up, you could do Schmidt's Farm during the day or Adventureland during the day and then do Rise of Jack-O-Lanterns at night, you'd be good. The kids are not going to get scared, really. Yeah. As far as it's a good time for them.
All right. Let's see. Best one to go to with a group of teenagers.
Teenagers?
Yeah.
I say Spooky Fest.
Okay.
Because it's just enough to scare them without going overboard.
Okay.
And it's funny because in the Haunted Maze thing.
And it's free.
So. You still pay for it.
Oh, okay.
It was $16 for everything.
Okay, see that's.
So that's why that's for a younger crowd. It's good for money wise.
Yeah.
And also the fact it's fun because while you're in the maze, there's a father and son, and the son's going ahead, and the father's like, Joseph, wait for me. And so once all the characters knew his name, they're like, yeah, Joseph, and they were like, come on, Joseph, this way. I'm like, oh, you poor bastard. I'm so sorry for you right now.
All right. So So Spooky Fest in Rockville Center, that's a good one to go to.
Right.
All right, which one would you go to with your which one you should go to with your significant other for comfort?
Which
one will be like, hey, I want to bring my significant other to this.
Adventureland is a good one because when you're with a couple, you have the train ride that you can sit next to each other and cling on to each other, or you have the 2-seater thing going through the house, or you have the antique car thing where you can fit 4, but usually a couple can sit together right next to each other. Yeah. So you have that cling with me. We're sitting in one place, cling with me mode. Yeah. Like as far as if you're in the other haunted houses, like Bayville's scary, you want someone to cling to, they're running just as fast as you. Yeah, so it's like, thanks, I'm dead. You just went through, but you're okay. I'm glad you're okay.
that was one I wanted to go. Was like, which one is the best to just go latest and go? So it's Bayville probably.
So it's it's one of those if you're looking for a little more of a couple date thing, I'd say I would say Adventureland. If you're looking more for scary factor, save me, I'll protect you, then Bayville.
Okay. All right, how about cheesiest one? Was there any ones that you thought were cheesy?
I don't want to be mean to it, but Spooky Fest, going through the adult one, was a little cheesy because it's there's one part that we're looking at campfires, so oh, this could be scary, and when the guys are walking through, they're like, oh yeah, the guy's on break right now. We're like, oh, I guess we'll keep walking then and not get scared until you disillusion me for this whole process. Yeah. And that was in the beginning, so I walked into it
no, it's alrighty. Yeah.
Alright, I guess we'll go through this.
Alright, and then the last one, which one, out of all these, what was your scariest moment out of all of them?
Bayville.
Oh, Bayville?
Yeah.
Where?
There was a mummy guy that popped out.
Oh.
They were lying down completely, so I thought it was just one of the props. No, he wasn't a prop, and he totally jumped up and was right there, ah! It was this much away from my face. So I think I probably screamed the loudest during that part.
Okay.
I mean, the forest scared me too, being in the dark, because again, and you couldn't see at one point. So going through a haunted forest where anything can come out of anywhere, and it's pitch black, and you're walking,
imminent amounts
right? If you're against a solid wall haunted house, nothing's coming behind you. But if you're in a forest, anything can come from anywhere. So the anticipation's there. I just wish the follow through was there with the anticipation almost.
Yeah, like you said, if they added music to it, I'm sure they might do that for next year.
Who knows? It'd be a good suggestion for them, I think. Just to add that little scary, subtle, the ambiance. You're looking for the ambiance.
Yeah, you're adding to it because that's what also. I think that's one good thing that Bayville did. You heard the music in the background going,
right?
But it wasn't over dominating. It just basically added to it. So, all right. I think for me, the scariest one was definitely in Bayville. I think it was one of the meat factories, I like to call it, where it was chainsaws and body parts all over the place.
Not right.
And there was one person right here, and the entire time I'm doing this because it just reminds me because I took karate from all my teens. So my first instinct was to do this. I was all right, nobody's gonna get me. Nobody's gonna get me. There was somebody right here, and he's like, "Hi, whoa!" Wait a minute.
That's what gets you. It was the there. I mean,
it's
everyone had its scary factor. I definitely jumped the screen for Adventureland, Spooky Fest, and and during Bayville. So it's they all did their job.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you had scary haunted things, and then you had the nice, just Halloween things.
Yeah, something that's just Halloween oriented, but not really scary.
Right.
So alrighty. So next one, let's talk about the most intriguing one that you didn't get to go to, because there's
so much to do.
Yeah. If you go to the website lihauntedhouses.com, you will see there are tons and tons of Halloween things to do on Long Island alone.
That's a really good go-to site. It's all condensed, where they'll direct you to that website, or they'll say they'll give you the spiel for each one. They'll give you ratings, what people thought of it. Yeah. So it's a really good headquarters spot to go to. Long Island. lihauntedhouses.com.
Yes. So that's definitely one to check out there.
And through that one, I'm oh, I want to try that one. Oh, I want to try that one.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
like the site helped really advertise for all the intriguing spots. So, there's one that was like that we wanted to try was I think it's called the Trilogy of Fears. It's in the Hop Hog area right off of Expressway Drive North.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like they take over a sports complex where I saw they had their commercials for it.
Oh yeah.
They're like on TV, so they were doing a lot of advertising for it. I'm like, they're looking good, so that made me want to check them out. Definitely. Yeah. It's just we ran out of time. There's only so many weekends in October that you can fit things.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that I work in Hop Hog. My job is there, so I saw it all over the place. And I remember looking at the advertisements for it. It's like, where is this place? It's like, oh, it's a sports facility. And then when I saw the truck, I was like, okay, that's where it is.
Right.
And it did sound pretty good from what I saw of it.
It's like, yeah, definitely had that one that I would try. You know, like it was just like like you're talking about some place that I'm at home seeing the advertisements on TV. Yeah. I'm seeing the posters for it. Even in Huntington Village advertising for it. Mm-hmm. And then you had like the website they were doing a lot. So it almost like, all right, there's a lot of hype on that one. So I hope it would meet people's expectations who did go. Exactly, I don't know, but it was looking like it would be pretty good.
Yeah, the one that I was looking forward to, like I wanted to see it only because I knew some of the people working it, was they had a haunted house place in Eisenhower Park.
I heard that was on LI too.
They had one like going on there where you can do like you have your family friendly activity section,
okay,
which is where I knew my friend was working on, who actually got fired for no particular reason there. Ooh. Like something happened, like an accident happened there, and it was sort of like a worker. I think it was like a worker got injured, and then they blamed it on somebody else. So they had to let go of all the people because it was all third party people. Like what they did is that they had one person hired to do the haunted house, to do the whole experience, and then since he didn't have everything, he had to hire other people. So he hired these third party people to help out, and something happened with their equipment. A worker got hurt, and they had to be let go for whatever reasons. But but it's like I heard. They had family activities going. They had like you can make your own pumpkins.
Okay.
It was only like $5 to do it.
Oh, there
which
you go.
Is not bad at
that's
all.
Reasonable.
So and you can choose whatever size pumpkin you want. So if you want a huge one, you can do that and decorate. If you want a small one, you can get that as well. That's
good.
So they had like carnival games going. They had face painting, balloon animals going, and then they had an actual haunted house that they had.
Oh, there you go.
They had done. I heard it was 2 floors. Mm-hmm. Like the bottom floor was just a regular haunted house. You go upstairs, it's all clowns.
Not cool.
It's all, and I think the end of it is a slide down, but it's like, that one.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
That would
like the killer clowns are coming after you.
You have like it just flashes back to you from a little kid, the movie It. But like you just made me think of like it's funny because for the family stuff, the Albert H. Schmidt Farms was good. But you had the other Schmitz Farms in Melville. They have a haunted corn maze, which is really good. It's like in the shape of a giant bat, but it's at nighttime. Like when I went, I was in college still, so it's like it was some years ago. Yeah. And they had where you had the chainsaw guys hiding throughout the entire corn maze. Jesus. I went with a group of people when I was like in my first year of college. Went with a group of people, and they had where you hear the chainsaws, and then you hear it get closer to you, then you hear it closer to you, and then it just stopped. Now you're in a maze, not knowing where you're going, and you're like, and then they just pop at you with a chainsaw going, like, ah! Yeah. And you push your friend out of the way, you just book it out, and it's like, I did that.
So, no shame in it, no shame in it. All right, okay.
I don't have to be the fastest, I just have to outrun you.
Yeah, just outrun the slowest of them all.
And they had the haunted house on the same premises, so you get like a 2-for deal on that place.
Okay.
So that would be some place that if you have, that I would check out again.
Yeah. And so, like you said, just check out lihauntedhouses.com.
Yep.
So we're getting towards the end here. Mm-hmm. Just wanted we'll finish it up with this one. What was the best one you went to and why?
Honestly, Rise of the Jack-O-Lanterns.
Okay.
Because it's the artist thing in me where it's like really could appreciate the work that was done. It was so beautiful. You could take your time just walking around, and everybody can join it. You can enjoy it. You can take your time. It's very reasonable price wise. and they were really cool about taking pictures and video footage of it. You can't bring tripods or monopods with you.
Oh yeah, but you can at least
still
take photos with.
Right, and that's it's something I really suggest to anybody. It's the first time I heard of it was last year, and they've been doing this for years.
I didn't heard of it until someone told me.
I was like, oh wow, it's like, let's check this out. So I'm really glad I got that experience this year, and I would definitely do it again next year.
Yeah. I think that's also a good one because it's something that everybody can go to.
Right.
It's not just like, because if you go into you hear Bayville Screen Park, the kids may be a little bit scared of that,
right.
so you really can't bring really little ones, like we'll say like 4 or 5 years old, but you can, younger than that, but at least with that you can bring them to this and they could see all the different stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's the artist work. It's the appreciation of it.
It's like, and honestly, I mean, I ended my Halloween season up until, we did that again last night, seeing the resin jack-o'-lanterns, and I'm glad I saw it one more time, because today is actually the very last day that they're even going to do it for the year.
Yeah.
But even after that, I mean, we went over to the Witch's Brew for some coffee in West Hempstead, and I mean, that's like, it's Dia de los Muertos. It's the Day of the Dead.
Might as well, yeah.
So it's like, all right, let's just finish this out at the Witch's Brew, and it's like, get some really good tea and
crumpets.
They not crumpets.
They don't have crumpets there.
No, but they do have croissants.
Oh, that's the next best thing.
They have a lot of like snacky, cakey things, and like really good. They have gluten-free stuff as well, but I mean, they have like their cheese platter stuff. Like they'll have like a little mini food, like, so it's good for like nashi food.
Okay.
So it's like it was just nice just being able to relax on the couch and like, yep.
And just have like a good time.
Yeah.
You end the Halloween season at the Witch's Brew.
Right.
So
it's like we go there throughout the whole year, but now because of the season, it
makes yeah.
We were waiting. You're waiting outside. It's like 11 o'clock at night. You're still waiting outside to get in.
Oh yeah.
It's like their volume has they're been going there for like the last 10 years. I can't believe the volume of people have gone there now.
Oh yeah.
So it's a
great place.
It's really great. Yeah, it's really good food, really good people there. So I mean, it was just nice to end my
and your Halloween
season with that.
Yes. Next year we're gonna be starting. We have to start earlier.
Yeah.
If they open up mid-September, we'll have plenty of time at that point to do whatever we wanted to do. Be like, okay, we can go to this one. We can go to this.
I mean, at the end of September, I was still in apple picking mode and making going to the farms out east, doing that.
So. But alright, so so your favorite one was the Rise of Jack-o'-lanterns.
Right.
I would definitely agree with that if I went to it. But the only thing I went to was Bayville Screen Park, so that was the only thing.
Well, that was your highlight.
That was my highlight right there.
What did you do on Halloween night itself?
Halloween, I was working.
Oh, not cool. I had work during the day.
I had work at night. Like, I woke up in time to see like all the costumes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we were handing out candy and all that.
Yeah.
Like the funniest one is when I wanted to do this, but I'm just too lazy. I was like, what I wanted to do was like answer the door, eating the candy. I told you that. It's like, hey kids, how you doing?
Like, I tested it for you. Here you go.
Exactly.
It's
give them the food I was eating.
It's mean.
It's a lot better than last year, because last year we actually ran out of candy.
Oh no, we just made it this year. Like, I'm like, you guys gave my last 3 Hershey bars, and then we had no one else the rest of the night.
It was just like really bad because there were 2 more families left, and my nephew answered the door. He's like, "Yeah, we're out of candy." Because
you give him change, give him money.
Yeah, I don't know what else
That's what you usually do. Give them some money, they'll be happy.
Yeah, give them something to be happy with it. But it was funny because it was just right. It was obvious last Halloween was right after Sandy.
Yeah.
Like a couple days of Sandy happened afterwards, and our house was the only house that had power. So all of his friends came over. So they were waiting on Halloween. As they were waiting, they were just picking the candy and eating it, not realizing that they finished the bowl. And it's like, oh,
yikes!
Yeah,
it was this Halloween definitely made up for last year's Halloween.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because it just like. We definitely have more trick-or-treaters, too, because of people like, all right, I got gypped last year.
Exactly,
This not going down this year like this.
Exactly, so, alrighty. Well, that is it for our Halloween episode here at the Fans POV. Hopefully next year we'll have more that we can work with and more people that will help us out with it.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely, like, our fan base definitely loves Halloween. It is made for it. So.
Alright, well, you have cosplayers during Halloween. Gee, I wonder what they're going to do.
Exactly. Alright, so for Crystal, I am Ernie. Thank you for watching us. Make sure you follow us online at all the different social media sites. And we will see you in January for Otakon Vegas. Alright?
All right, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. All right, let's stop that.
I just press stop.